Have you ever seen an automobile purposely flying off of a cliff? Well, it's an annual event for natives in Glacier View, Alaska. Thousands of people wait in line for this event every single year. Some people even travel worldwide to see cars flying off a 300-foot cliff for this 4th of July event. It all started almost 20 years ago in 2005 by Arnie Hintzer. Now that I have shared my overview of the 4th of July in Glacier View, Alaska, let's begin by taking a trip to Glacier View. The booms that we typically hear on 4th of July are from fireworks, but the booms you hear on 4th of July in Glacier View are the booms from cars hurling to the ground. Locals in Glacier View used to celebrate 4th of July with a small parade until the Matanuska River flooded their parade grounds. Luckily, Arnie Hintzer came to save the day. It all began when his wife had a run-in with a moose that left her Volvo unrepairable. Instead of disposing of her car the traditional way, Arnie had a unique idea. Arnie had a creative idea to launch his wife's Volvo off of a cliff to see if it would be worth making into an entertaining event. That it sure was. Arnie and his wife got so much thrill from launching her car off the cliff, they just knew the locals would get a kick out of it too. Arnie made history that day. If it wasn't for his wife's accident in her Volvo, the idea for this event likely would have never happened and this event would have never begun. One thing to note is that in Alaska, the sun doesn't set until midnight, which means fireworks are nearly impossible to see. This makes this event such a big hit because locals have little else to do. Not every day do you hear about cars flying off a 300-foot cliff, but in Glacier View, it's an annual event that they look forward to every single year. Now, event-goers don't just launch any cars off the cliff. They search for a long time to find their perfect vehicle. Some people find their vehicle at auctions, some people find their vehicle online, some people even drive for hours just to find their perfect vehicle to launch. Now you might be wondering, how do they launch these cars off the cliff? Is someone inside the vehicle? Do they use a forklift to push it off the side? No, it's actually more complex than that. They send the cars hurling over the cliff in two different ways. One way is to use a monorail. A monorail is a single piece of rail that keeps the cars on track and going straight. This approach is typically used for bigger vehicles. For example, this bus used the monorail. For other cars, most likely they're smaller cars, they use a piece of brick or lumber and jam it to the gas pedal. Then they take a ratchet strap and wrap it around the steering wheel so that the vehicle will head straight off the cliff. But occasionally, they do have some incidents where the vehicle doesn't make it to the edge of the cliff. The vehicle may hit a tree, or the vehicle just will tumble off the edge of the cliff, which is a very dull landing, and that's not what they're looking for. Their goal is for the vehicle to fly off the cliff and land into this pond below. This event is an unforgettable experience without a doubt, but it offers more than just seeing the cars fly off the cliff. Event goers decorate their cars and make it more exciting. In this photo, you can see one person made an old Corvette into a Barbie-themed Corvette for this event. Some extreme event goers even add wings to their car so that the car can catch more air and hopefully land into the pond, because whoever's vehicle lands in the pond is essentially the winner. This event also has other attractions. For example, an aircraft show, a singer of the Star-Spangled Banner, food trucks, and vendors. It's an all-American good time, that's for sure. But you might be wondering, what do they do with the destruction and the debris from these cars? Well, at the end of the event, everyone rallies and runs to grab pieces of the cars to take home as souvenirs. Thousands of people attend this event every single year, so the cleanup happens pretty quickly. They usually launch between 10 to 20 cars. As for the rest of the pieces, the community comes together over the next few days to gather up the remaining pieces, and they take it to be recycled. The 4th of July in Glacier View, Alaska may be non-traditional, but it's definitely an unforgettable way to celebrate America's freedom at full throttle.